I will introduce the functions of the components on this panel. This is the low voltage switch. Dip switch is off at the bottom. Dip switch is on at the top. This is the power supply pin. The supply voltage of our high voltage amplifier is 24 volts. The red one connects to the positive of the power supply. The black one connects to the negative of the power supply. The black wire is AGND. The red wire is INBSO. This red line INBSO is the sum of the input signal and the DC bias signal. This is the DC bias voltage. The input signal is provided by this BNC. The input pin is for external input. This BNC is the high voltage output monitoring signal. The high voltage output divided by 180 is the output of this point. This is the low voltage signal. This is a high voltage output. This BNC interface is a high voltage output during normal operation. This is a high voltage switch. Dip switch is off at the bottom. Dip switch is on at the top. Operation instruction. First, set the input signal for low voltage. Use INBSO to monitor the input signal. The output signal can be monitored with the HVO monitor interface. Set the low voltage signal first and then supply the high voltage. Now I'm going to demonstrate the operation of this high voltage amplifier. This is the low voltage power switch. Dial up, it is on state. Then turn on the low voltage power switch. This light is on. This light is blinking. Then start to set the input signal. This BNC is the AC signal input. This potentiometer adjusts the bias voltage. Here we introduce the pin INBSO. Pin 7 are the sum of the input AC and DC signals. The black line at pin 4 is AGND. Use these two pins to measure the signal of INBS. The frequency is setting at 10 Hz. The voltage is set to from -5 volt to +5 volt. Then change the output voltage. When the high voltage is energized, the controller will work normally. Now turn on the power switch to make it work normally. The output voltage of one cell with a red stylus is 1000 volt. Then change the input voltage and observe its output change. This is our high voltage amplifier with output 1800 volt. Its corresponding input from -10 volt to +10 volt. The corresponding output is from -1800 volt to +1800 volt. We also have a product with input from -10 volt to +10 volt corresponding to the output from -2000 V to +2000 volt. There are many other products with input from -1000 volt to +1000 volt, -500 volt to +500 volt, -1500 volt to +1500 volt. Then I set this frequency to high frequency 10 Hz. Observe its output. Then switch off the high voltage. Input signal set at 10 Hz. Turn on the high voltage and observe the output. Change the input signal size. Then observe the voltage of HVO monitor. Turn off the high voltage. Now measure the input signals INBSO and HVO monitor, and the relationship between them is equal. And now turn on the high voltage. Now the red line measures the waveform of the HVO monitor. Then increase the input signal. Now set the waveform at 10 kHz. You can see that the input signal INBS pin and the output HVO monitor have the same waveform. They're both the same amplitude. Then set low frequency. The input and output signals are also the same.